What's up, everybody? Welcome to System Crafters. I'm David Wilson, and we're back again with another live stream in the Spring Lisp Game Jam 2024 series of streams. This past week, we've been working on a game called Lambda Dungeon, which is what I'm calling a reverse dungeon crawler, where you play the role of the monsters in the dungeon who are trying to prevent the quote-unquote hero from coming in, stealing all the treasure and escaping. And you do this by writing a simple scripting language that looks kind of like Scheme, but is very, very simplified, simplistic, let's say. But it's, it seems pretty fun. We're almost finished with the jam. We have today, tomorrow, and then it's due on Monday morning. So we have today and tomorrow only left to work on this. So what we're going to try to do is finish up the logic system today to get all of the actions for both the monsters and the hero working. And then maybe tomorrow we'll be able to finish the polish for the game, make sure that the main game loop is working, basically where you can start a new game and then win or lose the game. And then add anything else that's necessary, like maybe a help screen or just anything else to make the game feel more like a game. I don't know how far we'll get into it, but that's okay. I mean, the goal was to just use Guile Hoot, which is a Scheme to WebAssembly compiler, to write a more elaborate and ambitious game than the last Game Jam, which was the Autumn Lisp Game Jam, where I used an early version of Hoot to write a solitaire game. We wanted to be a bit more ambitious this time, try to push Hoot to more of its limits, and I think we've been pretty successful in that, and I've had a really good time doing it. So overall, I feel like it's been a success, but let's still try to see if we can finish out the Game Jam strong. Let me post the stream over to Fediverse so that people know what's happening. All right. That should be done now. Hello to Thanos, Trev, Glenn, Alejandro. And let's see who else on the YouTube. Arno. Hello, Arno. Let's see. Yep, that's it for now. I'm sure more people will filter in as time goes on here. So let's see. Anything else worth mentioning? Not so much. I didn't actually check in the code from yesterday because we left things in kind of a half-finished state. We were trying to rewrite the action system so that I guess the important thing we're trying to implement yesterday is whenever you're trying to go to a particular item on the screen, let me actually just show you the game so that you can see what I'm talking about. Whenever a monster or the hero is trying to seek a particular item on the screen, like the yellow gem here in this room, if the path that they're trying to walk to get to that item is blocked by a locked door, the logic we were adding should make it possible for them to say, okay, I need a key for the blue door, so let me go get the blue key and then try to go back to the door again. So we were implementing this action stack design where when you have an action that's currently ongoing, and if that action gets blocked by another action, we push the new sort of remediation action onto the stack so that that can be done, and then we sort of reevaluate what action needs to be taken after the new action is complete. That did not fully work. I think we had some issues with maybe I was managing some lists incorrectly somewhere. So we're gonna start off from there and try to get that working and see how far we can get from there. So once we get that working, we should be able to get to where a few of the things we wanted to implement will come online. So let me just show you what we were actually talking about yesterday. To implement the hero logic, what we want is to write a simple script for the hero. Basically, find the nearest item. Hello, I think that's Cal 2001, right? Old-fashioned Cal, right? Find nearest item for the hero. Even a monster could have this as part of their script, but find the nearest item, and if you find it, then you take that item. But if this can't happen because you try to find the nearest item and it's blocked, the path that you would take to get there is blocked by a locked door, then it's not Cal 2001. Oh, right. There's multiple cows. We have a burgeoning bovine audience in the System Crafters world. So excuse me for thinking it's the wrong person. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I gotta throw in some wordy alliterations here. It wouldn't be System Crafters otherwise. Then you do a cattle, not pets. That's right. So we would have a path blocked clause that checks to see if the current path that we're trying to get to is blocked, and if it is, find the key that will unblock that path. Now, this does look a little bit too hand-holdy in a sense, like we're not writing real code to implement this logic. It would be nice if, you know, we had time to write a fully spec'd out language that could do this, maybe a subset of Scheme. But I think it would have been harder for a person to try to learn how to do that in the scope of this game without spending a lot more time fleshing out the data structures and sort of the interface that the scripts work through. This is not pseudocode. This is actually expressions that get interpreted by the game. So then if nothing else, if maybe they don't find an item and the path is not blocked, then they will try to walk to the exit. So this is basically just the logic for the hero. They don't really need to do anything else. I mean, what the hero could do is have some specific logic for fighting a monster, but that's kind of part of the find nearest item, because first the logic would look for any items that are just laying on the ground and go there first. And then if there are no other items laying on the ground, then it must be in the pockets of a monster. So let's go beat up a monster and take its item. And then if we found all the items, we would exit. So that's what the hero is going to do. But it's up to you to prevent that from happening. So only you can save the monsters in the dungeon from getting beat up by the hero guy. So that's what we're going to try to implement today. Also, I was trying to do a little test script here to test some of this path blocking logic. So we hard-coded some positions of items here. We hard-coded this yellow gem to be in this room so that it's always there. Then we hard-coded the fact that this door is locked with a blue key, and we hard-coded the blue key being on the ground here. And the reason for that is so that I can just write the same script and run it every time. It would be much better if I had unit tests and I could sort of, you know, model the world in a unit test and iterate on this very easily. What? Goosefat says, so lonely, I see. What does lonely mean in this case? So, so yeah, we had to hard code some things on the game screen so that we can easily test this. I would like to do unit tests, but we don't have time. We just need to hack it, get it done. On people. All right. You mean like viewers in the stream? The stream just started. Give them a chance to show up. On YouTube, at least, we're starting to gain more, so that's good. It's the weekend. People are, you know, coming in. We stream on YouTube also, yes. There's 14 people on YouTube, only seemingly 5 on Twitch at the moment. It's nap time, says Arno. Yeah, it's nap time for the kids, so people have time. Yeah, that's basically it. All right, so let's get back to it. Let's try to run the code again. I didn't change anything since last time, so we should just be able to reload the page and try it one more time. Oh yeah, I've restarted Emacs, so I need to go recompile and start the server up. Nope, not update system. Why did it run that first? There we go. Yes, this is the same machine that I used for the System Crafter stream last night as well, so there's still some state from that hanging around. Goosefat says it's 9:58 p.m. Oh wow, you must be further to the east from me. Because for me, it's only 3 o'clock. All right. Australia, that makes sense. Australia's living in the future. You want to know what's going to happen tomorrow? Just ask somebody from Australia. All right. So we reloaded the game. I don't know why all 3 keys are now showing up in a row here, but yeah. Cal says 1 p.m. there. Okay. So let's try running that script again so that we can see what the trouble is. I'm pretty sure I just need to do some logging. Actually, let me turn this music down a little bit. I feel like it's loud in my ears, so it must be loud to you too. That's a bit better. Hey, Dislike W. Okay, let's paste this in. I don't really know if I like this monster's name. It sounds a little bit suspect. All right, cool. We got the error that we expected to see, which is the cooter on a false. We were writing some things out. Can't find a path to desired position. So what is the state of the code at that moment? So let's pull up entity.scm. Can't find a path to desired position. This is when we are trying to run make path action, and we return false for a path. So find path must have returned null, and we're asking for a path to the yellow gem. Okay, that actually makes sense. So make path action. Make path action. Where am I calling this? Okay, right here. That's right. Returning existing action. That didn't actually pop like that, though. What's the question mark in if null path? That's a scheme naming convention that tells you that it's a predicate procedure, meaning that it takes a single value, generally a single value, and returns a truthy or false value based on a logic check on that value. Okay, so, and pair in this case means it's a const pair. Yes, Borosio Alejandro says, if I recall, it indicates a predicate. Yes, that's right. Whew, I'm sweating. It's hot and greasy today. And we're not turning on the air conditioner yet because, you know, electricity costs money. So we're just going to sweat it out. It's going to be like a real wood shop in here. We're just hacking away in the wood shop. So we didn't actually get to... So we got to considering... Why did this pop up down here? But then it went straight to can't find a path to desired position. We called make path action there. Consider path action. That's what we were calling before. Okay, so considering, we did see considering, take item, can't find a path to position. Right. And that would have come from make path action. But why did it not write this part out? Oh. Okay, this is very weird. Can't find a path to desired position. Find path. Make path action. I don't even see how we could reach that logic if we're not writing that line out. How does it keep doing this? I'm very confused. Oh. Perhaps it's someone else's logic that's being executed at that moment? Yeah, Alejandro, we definitely need to add that. I had started working on it on my other laptop and didn't make a whole lot of progress. I'm trying to make like an overlay pop-up that shows up over the game. Like, for instance, if you have a help button here and you click it, it would do an overlay maybe over the editor or over the whole game that gives you like the listing of clauses and actions that you can take. And maybe some example code snippets, but we'll see if we end up having time for that. Peter says, important learning from these streams, PK debugging. Proudly sold that and have been using it in the past days. Yeah, PK is pretty much the sole way that you can debug things at this moment. Alejandro says, I don't think the judges will watch over 10 hours of videos to know how to use it. Of course not. I'm going to write something up, even if it's just on the landing page for the game. Eslack says, it's interesting to see functions without the keyword return. Yeah, well, that's... Scheme and other Lisps are expression-based languages, so you don't have to use return. Old-fashioned Cal says, what are you using under the hood to get things in the browser? It's a compiler called Guile Hoot, which is a scheme to WebAssembly compiler. Where is it? Hoot. Scheme to WebAssembly compiler by the Sprightly Institute, and you basically just write Guile Scheme code, and it will compile it to a WebAssembly program that you can load into the browser. And then you can use some JavaScript code to bind the functions in the scheme code to JavaScript functions for things like drawing to the screen, etc. So all this stuff that you see on the screen right now is being driven by scheme code. All the rendering here is calling into HTML5 Canvas APIs, and then all of this UI here is HTML elements that are created from the scheme code and put into the screen. It is epic. It's awesome. I will be writing many games and applications using this going forward because I feel pretty strongly that it's going to be a good approach. Okay, So I'm trying to understand why I'm seeing, you know what, maybe I should not spend too much time trying to figure out why and just add some more PK statements or expressions. So considering, well, old-fashioned Cal, I have a course that will teach you how to learn a scheme if you're interested to take it. If you go to systemcrafters.net, might as well shill it now. Go to systemcrafters.net on the main page. Then there's a link here to the hands-on Guile Scheme for Beginners course, which is an 8-week live course. There's live components to the course. It's, you know, pre-recorded material plus live components and a forum and exercises, etc., etc. Check it out on this page for more information. It's a good time. Let's see. Peter said, I probably should have gone that way too, seeing all the effort I'm putting in bundling and distribution. This has definitely been much easier from that perspective because coming up with the automation to publish the web game to itch was super easy, which you already know that, Peter, because you've used Butler as well. But being able to have the game just straight up on the page, you just go to my itch page and click run game, and then you basically got the game. It's pretty nice to be able to do that. So for all game jams going forward, this is what I'll do because it's so easy for somebody else to just go play it in a up-to-date web browser. So here, let me just try to redigest the logic that I was writing yesterday because clearly I did something wrong. So when we're calling consider path action, we're trying to see if a particular type of pathfinding action can take place. Either the action is not currently active, or the action is active. Either it's the currently executing action, or it's been postponed because it could not complete. So we're coming up with the action type by taking the type value and the item position. We're treating that as a value that signifies this particular action. And then we are looking at the entity active action. And then we're comparing those two. So maybe I should say current action here as well to write that out, because I think I can put both. What's the start in let? Nope, that is, so a let expression is basically a way to create local variable bindings for whatever you need inside of the body of the expression. And in a normal let expression without that star in scheme, these bindings cannot refer to each other whenever you are defining them. So in this case, I'm defining action type, and then in the next binding, I'm actually referring to action type here. So I need to refer to a binding that was just created inside of the same let expression. With a normal let without the star, you can't do that because of the way the scheme works. But if you want to do that, you have to add the star, which is a different type of expression, which allows you to define these bindings sequentially and then have them usable by the future binding expressions. So all that stuff is definitely covered in the course. Okay, so let's see, considering, let's recompile now and take a look. Loop says, I say the same while looking at lambda calculus. I haven't actually looked at lambda calculus, like the real lambda calculus. I have a book. I forgot what it's called. Functional Programming with Lambda Calculus. Yeah, this one. An Introduction to Functional Programming through Lambda Calculus. I've started reading this a few times, but I never get all the way through it. But it seemed pretty good. So that's an interesting thing to read. I'm pretty sure structure and interpretation of computer programs is also pretty similar on that vein. All right, now we've got our code recompiled. Let's restart, and I need to go back and copy my little test script again. Let's copy this in and drop it here, and then click run. And same error, obviously, but now we're saying take item and then false. So that means that the current action is false, which does make sense. Oh, is that actually maybe what the problem is? Ah, see, there we go. Entity active action. So current action is false. If pair, if equal current action, it still doesn't make sense to me, actually. The Twitch bots have attacked again. This time I actually have the Twitch dashboard up so I can just kick them out if it lets me. Come on now. Anyway, whatever. Okay. Somehow it's getting to make path action, and I'm not exactly sure why. If not current action, returning existing action. Did I just write this so poorly that it just decided not to let me see that? All right, so if pair entity action entity, so we know some things now. Entity action entity, if it's not actually an empty list, and then if equal current action to the car of entity action, which is the first action in the list. Should I wait? Oh, that's why. Oh. Right. Okay. Now I understand. All right. Let me explain it to you. Now that I realized. Borussia says, compared to the goblins, the Doom guy looks like the real monster. That's because he is. Dev Mashup says, hello, is this Python? I can't tell if that's a serious question. No, it's not Python, it's Scheme. All right, so let's see. What happened here is that because entity action is not a pair at this point, because there's no current action, then it just skips right over this PK expression because this is the truth path of the expression, and it goes straight to the and. So and not current action. So that means that current action is false, which is correct. Make path action. So we do get here. That's fine. So make path action, action type, entity level. Car item position, could item position, take item, clause result. That seems right. So let's go back. Consider path right here. Now, let me turn the keycast back on. Python with parens. That's what Trev says. Yes, Trev. It's Python with parens, of course. So make path action. So let's go into make path action then, because I think that must be where it's happening. Can't find a path to desired position. Oh no, that's not true. It's outside. So consider path action. We're here. We're returning the result of consider path action, which is false. Whoops. Push entity action. Okay, const action or C looks complicated. Well, it's not C either. This is Scheme. And C is not that complicated. C is kind of nice, actually. Peter says the normal version of let defines all variables at the same time, so they are not yet in the scope until in the body of the let. That's correct. You can imagine that a let of x1, y2, that's just a little Scheme tip here. You can imagine that this, xy, is equivalent to lambda xy plus xy 1, 2. Yes, that's what Peter says is true. So basically, see, Peter, you seem to know the fundamentals of Scheme. So I hope that the course is going to help you. I think it should help you. Anyway, the lambda here is basically an anonymous procedure that has bindings x and y, and you were defining it right here in line in this expression, and it's actually being called immediately with 1 and 2 being passed in. That's effectively what this let is. Just gets kind of converted into a similar thing. Now, the compiler probably optimizes that so it doesn't turn literally into a function call, but probably every CPS transform compiler like Guile does actually turn that into a lambda, because probably everything gets turned into a single parameter lambda to be fully CPS. Sorry, I'm not going to explain all that because that's just sort of like too much to go into, and we got some game code to write. Okay. So push entity action. Entity. Oh, did I actually, you know what? Get out of there. Push entity action. What am I returning from here? And interpret actions. What am I doing with the result of push entity action? Interpret actions right here, unless, okay, interpret actions is supposed to return something. So interpret actions, I think this is probably where we're headed. So interpret actions. We're pushing the entity action into the action list, whatever comes out of this match expression. So for the match, we're running take item because this is the take item action. Hey, Dave. Circle Bond is looking pretty good based on the little video clip I saw on Fediverse this morning. Seems like you all have been working pretty hard on that yesterday. So consider path action, take item entity. Yes, that's going to return false in this case. So when it returns false, we pass false through to push entity action. So we're setting the entity action, we're consting the action. We need to not do that though if it is false. So right now, push entity action is actually returning unspecified in theory, because a set normally, yeah, I'm not defining that. So a set normally returns unspecified. So in this case, right on, okay. So I don't even know if we're getting there, because the error that we're seeing is a crash on calling cooter on a false. It will be fun, Peter, that's for sure. And I will show you some idiomatic scheme code. Endlessly doubting whether to use Ice9 or Surfy. How to debug, build, compile. Those things we can definitely cover. Yep, definitely. Dave says, and since it's the weekend, maybe I can actually stream after you this time. Yeah. If I leave some time for you, I'm a little bit late today. You should stream anyway, and I'll just tell people to go watch you instead, because we're not going to make so much progress here. Okay, you know, it's Saturday. I'm a little bit tired. We could just have some fun chatting and also coding a little bit at the same time. We don't have to be so hardcore and just try to get, you know, tasks completed the entire time. All right, so set entity action, entity const action. Action is false, like I was saying. I got to keep my train of thought clear. Action is false in this case. We're not going to push a false action. I believe I was coming to this conclusion back in, back when we were looking at the interpret actions procedure. Interpret actions. I need to actually store the result. So let new action and not push it. Feels kind of wrong to try to push an action whenever we haven't even decided what the action is yet, or we don't have one. Kind of a nasty way to nest this match. Yikes. Well, let's just drop it down one more line maybe. And then, come on. So if insert mode. When, nah, it's got to be an if or and. Push entity action, sorry, and new action. God, I keep hitting insert on this keyboard, and I keep going into overwrite mode. Push entity action, entity, new action. Seems a little bit strange, but we'll do that. Oh, I bet I can't do that, can I? All right. Never mind. So at least this will save the value and take a look at it first. Interpret actions. When we call that, it's unless. So unless it returns true, let's loop. That's right. So at least that part of the logic is right now. Back to interpret actions. We need to check push. Oh, do I have everything lined up? Yeah. Push entity action. Set entity action entity. Const action. I can just return the action, or I can return the action list. What's the purpose? You know, let's just return the new list. How about that? Entity action entity. All right, so that will make it be truthy in the end, which will cause the procedure to return a truthy value and then pass through. Let's recompile and see if this helps anywhere. If it doesn't, then we got other problems to solve. Peter, how's your game going? Are you almost finished? I think yesterday you said that you got to the point where the bloat aspect is coming into play. I know that Trev has already submitted his Tetris game, but I haven't had a chance to try to play it yet. And Cal 2001 is working on. Well, I think he's still working on the. What was the game? Man, I'm totally drawing a blank. The game with the grid with the numbers. Japanese name. Oh, the code seems to be working now, so maybe I fixed the bug. Not actually doing the right thing, though. Old Fashioned Cow says, how are each of your parentheses a different color? That is coming from the Sudoku. Thank you, Alejandro. See, my brain is not functioning properly after a week of game jamming. They're a different color from the rainbow parenthesis package in Emacs. So I think this is wander behavior. So I believe that for whatever reason, the monster logic is not... Yeah, heat, that could be a thing too. And also walking around shopping for clothes for 3 hours this morning. That didn't help. Let's see. Hero and now scale with a bloat factor. Cool. Can't pass the gate if you've done more exercise. I love that. That's awesome. I want to play it. Okay. So I think that this monster is just wandering. It's not doing the right thing. Can't find a path to desired position. I see it trying. And it's also doing find key, which is returning true. All right. I think we're missing a step. Let's do this too. You suck. Considering asset loading bug in the distribution packages, that's fun. Can't find a path to desired position. Considering take item, considering find key. It looks like it's going through the path of the logic and not getting to where it needs to be. I wish I could pause this and actually take a look at the output. Take item. Find key. I see find keys sometimes. Okay. I'm trying to like figure out what the path we're taking here is. Find key. Consider path action, find key. We're trying to find that specific key. Let's see, clause result. What is it called? Blocked? Path blocked. Entity need a key. Let's write that out. PK need key. And then I need to go into Let's get rid of the considering, because it's just kind of spamming too much and I want to clean it up a little bit. Oh, current action is true? That can't be right. Entity active action. Oh, it does return true. That doesn't seem right, does it? No done. Need key, blue, need key. Okay, yes, we are finding the right thing that's needed. So some of the logic is correct here. We're finding that we need the blue key. I don't think that it's finding a path to the blue key. If I go back to entity, need key. So, and find item position, level list, key, entity needed key. Well, let's just, you know, take a little chop at that right there. And I want to pull this in too, just to make sure that that's right. I'm pretty sure it's right. So find item position, level is key blue, which should be working. I guess I could actually wrap this whole find item position. Let me do that too. It's going to get a little bit messy here, but that's okay. We just need to debug a little bit. I think we might actually find our way out of this pretty fast, though. We're on the trail now, finally. So once again, we have more viewers on Twitch than on YouTube, which is very interesting to me. I guess that game development is a bit more interesting on Twitch. Good to know. If you're here on Twitch and you've never been on the channel before, say hello in the chat. Okay, so let's go back to load up the game, and then we need to copy our script again. I need to maybe... Hello to Alexander Supertramp. Well, I've seen you yesterday, Alexander, but yes, hello anyway. That's nice. This is a browser game indeed. And we're writing Scheme and using a Scheme to WebAssembly compiler to write it. And it's using the HTML Canvas APIs for rendering. Old Fashioned Cow says YouTube is superior. Well, it's superior in certain ways, but it seems that, oh, YouTube is caught up. 17, okay, it was 17 for a second, then 15. Anyway, it's, I think that actual live streaming is more preferred, let's say, on Twitch. Peter says MPV is even superior. Yes, you can definitely watch the stream with MPV. If you install YouTube DL or YTDLP, whatever it's called, one of the two, that will automatically get picked up by MPV, and you can just put the YouTube link in and watch the stream that way. But then I don't see your viewer count. And I'm like, nobody's watching my stream. But then probably half the people who are here are watching it on MPV, and I can't see. That's fine, though. Whatever. I know that you're in the chat, so that's good enough. It's pretty convenient. Yes, I need validation. I need numbers for validation. So tell all your friends to come to my stream, even if they don't care, to give me validation, because why else would I be on Twitch and YouTube right now unless I just desperately needed validation from having numbers increasing on a screen? I'm just kidding. All right, let's get back to actual coding and not just, you know, making stuff up. Item position. Alejandro says, I'm testing the game on itch, and if any of my monsters take an item before the one I had instructed to do it, then the monster just halts. I think that some of the changes we're making to the logic right now may actually fix that, because we're going to be reevaluating the position. Sorry, reevaluating the logic. It's actually a good point, though. Every step, whenever we're already in an active walking cycle, we might need to check to see if the item we're looking for is still around in that position. And if not, we need to abort the action. It's possible. Okay. I don't expect the game is going to be super high quality or work very well at the end, just so you know. Because it is a lot more complicated than other things we've written on game jams. I think it's more complicated also because I'm not exposing enough of the internals, and I'm having to sort of hard code some things to make it work. If it was more of a legitimate scripting experience, you would probably have more control, but it would also be harder for you to write the code and easier to lose. So I don't know. All these things you need to find out what the balance is, and who knows. Oh, the selected path is completely ridiculous. I think that the implementation of the Dijkstra's algorithm in this code is wrong in a couple ways, but it actually does make it kind of comical how they just wander around in a very strange serpentine path to get to the destination. So maybe that's a feature and not a bug, actually. All right. I recompiled this, didn't I? I think so. Monsters logic, yes. Trev says it's wrong, but it's ours. Yes, that's right. If anything goes wrong, I don't blame left pad. I blame Trev in this case. Key position false. Why? Oh, someone already grabbed it. Oh, shit. Excuse my language. There's 4 monsters and somebody grabbed the key already. So yeah, I mean, the current logic is working because the monster's just wandering around. All right, here, look. Oh, you're right next to the blue key this time. We're just gonna grab it by accident. Let's see what happens. Okay, it picked up the key. Does it go back toward the door now? No. Oh, maybe. Oh, it's still looking for the key. Why? Oh, maybe. Okay. I may not have implemented that part of the logic yet. So find path. When I check the blocked state, needed key, set needed key, where is it? Right there. Entity has item. Now, entity has item. Lock color. At that moment, the entity does have the item. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Alexander says, how can I join the game? If you go to, yeah, I don't have it very easy to find on Twitch, but it's fluxharmonic.itch.io. What's the easiest way to get to this? Lambda Dungeon. Let me just type it into the Twitch chat. That's why I need these little bot things. Alejandro says, I like this game for my daughter to start coding. Yeah, I would say it's too much cheating to be considered a good start for coding, but I like what you're thinking. It would be nice to have a simple coding game that was more fun for a kid as a way to get started. So I put the link to the game page in the Twitch chat. Okay. Back to work. So what I was looking for here is I can see in the logs that it keeps telling me that I need the key and the key position is false, but I already have the key. Entity needed key, set entity needed key. Where am I setting it to false? Update entity. So, okay, let's check that out. So set entity needed key, not lock color, not entity has key. So PK has key. First, I will say entity items, entity. And then I'll pass through the logic expression. I think this should work to log it while also passing through the value, so it shouldn't break the code. Hunter says, suddenly recall a summer 30 years ago when I took a course of Logo. Yeah, Logo was kind of like the starting point for a lot of people, or like what do they call it? Like the Turtle graphics program. Probably a similar thing. We have to tell the turtle to go in certain directions to draw a shape, or get to can't speak anymore. Get to a specific location on a grid. Yeah, something like that. All right, key position. Now let's reload. Let me just get this script and reload again, and then we'll rerun it. Old Fashioned Cal says, my starting point was C. Yes, or C++. Need key. Where is the, struct? Am I evaluating this incorrectly? I must be. Wait a second. Okay, so entity, wait. Entity has item. Whoa. Here it is. Oh, yeah. Okay. Entity, items, entity. That's not right. We got to map. Item type. This is why we're having trouble right now, because we don't recognize the correct item type. So yes, I'm checking if the entity has a particular item. I have an item type effectively that I'm testing for. I'm using the member procedure to look in the entity items list to look for that value. And each item is actually an instance of a record type. And I need to get the type out of the record type to compare it against this incoming type. So I missed that step, and that's why it's not currently working. So now that I'm using map to pull the item type out of each one, it will tell me for sure whether it's there or not. And we should get the compilation result. We can reload again. I believe that this will start to work a bit better now. It won't try to find a key that it already has, and it could start walking toward the door. We still haven't implemented unlocking of doors yet. That'll be interesting to try. Wow, too many entities here. Too many. One of them will end up getting blue key first, I bet money. That one, yeah, I told you. So now it's just wandering. Yep, it's just wandering because it can't find the key. That's fine. Should I restrict the number, excuse me, the number of entities for now? Let me go back to game.scm. Generate monsters. Let me generate only one monster for now. Oh, not that. Generate monsters. Random in range. Let me just change this right now to be only one, so that we don't have any confusion whatsoever about which one is going to try to grab this key. I guess one thing you have to be concerned about whenever you're writing your scripts one thing to be concerned about when writing your scripts for multiple entities is multiple monsters, is to make sure that another monster doesn't interfere with the script, because then your monster could just start wandering around and doing something pointless, which to me seems like part of the strategy of the game. So I'm not really opposed to that taking place. All right, so, oh no, he's inside the room. Okay, we can't do that. Yeah, what do you do in this case when the monster's inside a locked room and he can't get out? Well, you know what? I bet he'll go get the thing, and then he'll just wander around here until somebody comes and beats him up. So watch this. Now I can actually go pick up that gem. And it did. So now it's just going to wander around endlessly. All right. We can't make sure no other monster interferes if the path is so funny. Yeah, that's true. Unless you tell a monster, well, you got to go stand over here in the corner. And then wait. Or just stay there, effectively. The only logic that it has is walk to point 1010 or something. All right. Let me try that again. We're going to try to run the script to see if the monster will go pick up the blue key and then walk towards the door. Let's see what we can do. Uh-oh. I think it's reevaluating the logic each frame. And it's not actually walking toward the key. It's just wandering right now. Need key, need position. Has key, empty list. Oh, okay. I think empty list is valid though. No, it's not valid. What is it? Has key is still false. It has the key. Just picked it up. That's really weird. So Quebec here picked up the blue key. It's returning false, but it shouldn't return false because I'm looking for the blue key. What is it that is going wrong here? Has key, wrong file. Has key. Entity items. Let's do another map here. Item type. And then entity has item. Entity list key lock color. That should evaluate just fine. Let's also say what we're looking for. So list key lock color. Oh, this may be wrong actually. No, it's returning true and we're just using not. So hold up, this is wrong. So if there's a lock color and the entity does not have the key, then set the entity need a key. Okay, all right. So I'm just the log message I'm writing out is confusing me. The right thing is happening here. So let's just get rid of all these. The right thing is actually happening now. So if what does true do in this case? Not. So if there's a lock color, this is very confusing logic. If there's a lock color, meaning that the tile is a door that's locked with a particular color key, and the entity does not have the key for that item, for that color, then we need to, excuse me. We need to begin walking, set need a key. Oh, and then we're returning true. If lock color. So what happens then? So if lock color is false, then this returns false, and then this makes it return true. But what does that do? This is an and. If this is true, then it continues the loop, I think. Yeah. Otherwise, if this is false, then it breaks out of the loop. All right, that does make sense. This will only get hit if the current tile is not a locked door. Okay, so let me just check the output again. So the whole has key thing is fine now. So key position. And I don't think we're writing those things out anymore either. So if it has the key, then find item should work. So find item, take item, make path action. I guess that's the thing. If we reach a locked door, we need to make sure that we can continue. So let's maybe write that out. So where was that at? Needed key set right here. This whole expression, I need to wrap it with something to find out what the result is. So I'm going to use a PK here. The shape of that S expression is gnarly. Yeah, it's terrible. It's not feeling real good right now. It's not feeling real elegant. But I just need to get working first, and then we can simplify the logic so that it's not so ugly. So PK, what would it be? So either lock color, let's write this out so we know that it's locked. Ah, well. And then in this PK, is passable. Let's call it that. Because the thing we're wondering here is whether, even though if the door is locked, can we pass through it? Because the entity has the key. Let's try that again. Welcome to the folks coming in on Twitch. Please say hello in the chat if you haven't been to a stream on this channel before. Would love to welcome you here. Peter says, that's a really nice feature of S expressions. They really communicate when things go off the rails. Yeah, when things start to get inelegant, then you realize that maybe your logic is overly complicated, or maybe you should be modeling it a different way. All right, so we got the single entity, and we should be able to see what's going on here. Trev says, are we doing that logic outside of the check for valid neighbors? This is when we're going in reverse from the target position back to the start path. Sorry, the start point. Code Monkey BB, hello, says, not sure what I'm looking at here, but it's almost midnight my time, and I'm here for it. Yeah, this is a game jam entry called Lambda Dungeon, where basically you play the role of the monsters and you're trying to stop the hero character from stealing all the treasure, and you do that by writing scripts. And we're about to see this one fail because... Oh, it's going to write that out for every single thing? I don't want that. Is it even walking toward the blue key at this point? No. Just popping back and forth. Trev says, I thought you could just invalidate the door based on if the entity has a key or not. I'm doing that, but that's in the path. The logic we're looking at right now is that logic, because this is the end of the find path algorithm when we're trying to rebuild the entire path from the end to the beginning by checking the shortest distances. If we hit a tile that's a neighbor to another tile, and that one is a locked door, then we check to see if the entity has that key. And if it does, then we just let it go through. Otherwise, we say that it's blocked. All right, so the hero grabbed the key, and the monster's just diddling around doing nothing. Okay, that's great. It's a little bit difficult to try to make this work without being able to step through. I'm wondering if there's a way that I can write some test logic. Because it feels like we're sort of just trying to use a shotgun to solve this problem. Not very precise. we're just spewing out a lot of logic, or sorry, a lot of log statements, and I don't feel like we're getting closer to a solution. Every frame, when we update the entity, it would be nice if I could write out what the current slate of actions are so that I know what's happening. So the is passable things are being written out too many times. If I could just do that whenever I know that there is a lock color. So not, and if it's locked, probably after this. Yeah, how about I do that? Because this expression won't get executed. Well, actually, it won't get executed until right here anyway. So a PK. Am I back to where I was? Is that right? Or did I delete one too many parens? So the let expression. Yes, we have surpassed the window for writing unit tests. We're long past that now. We're at the phase of the project where, as they say, the horse is already out of the barn. And you're not going to get it back in. So, unfortunate. It is what it is. So we have a let here. And let. And that big not expression right there, which is awful. Then we have a loop. Okay, I think that that's right. And then the paren there goes back to the and. If and pair path. Okay. Yeah, this one is getting really ugly. And it makes me nervous. Okay, let's try to run that and see what kind of output we get. This, at least now, we'll know that there's a locked door somewhere in the path. We encountered a locked door, and then we'll find out whether it's passable or not by running this expression. Oh, actually, blocked is the correct way to say this, because we're saying not has item. So we're going to recompile that just so we don't get confused. Because my attention span is low enough right now that I will get confused. What is the point of setting that the key is needed? So that the logic can then say, okay, since the key is needed, I need to go find the key and pick it up. So if you look at the script we have here, we first say find item gem yellow. We want the monster to go get this gem, but whenever it tries to find a path to the gem, it sees that it has a door blocking the path. So now we set that flag on that entity saying the path that it needs to go to is blocked by a particular key color. So then this next clause will pick up on that value and say, oh, okay, the path is currently blocked. So because of that, let's find that key. It will try to go find that key first. And once it picks it up, it should resume the walking the path to that object. And what I would do is if the entity is trying to move to a tile that has a locked door, if they already have the key in their inventory, it would just automatically unlock the door and let them through. So we haven't gotten to that point yet because we haven't actually gotten it to work. But I think we're almost there. An hour and a half into the stream. We'll see, though. I saw the blocked thing. Blue T. So it's currently blocked. That is true because it hasn't picked up the key yet. Is it walking to the key? Yeah, it's a lot of hand-holding. I'm doing too much work for the script author. They're sort of, you know, this is kind of a copy and paste thing in the end. This game is for babies. It is kind of for babies. And the walking to the key is not actually working, it seems. It knows it needs to walk there, but then I think it says it can't find a path to desired position. Need key. Key blue. Key position. Where does need key written? I know I wrote that, but... Wandering simulator? Yes, it is a wandering simulator. These are not very smart monsters, you know. We're dealing with fantasy characters here. Trev says, wandering simulator, that's my life. Yeah, if wandering around in your Emacs all day counts as wandering, then yeah, that's mine too. Okay, so need key. That only comes up when path blocked is true. If entity need a key, Death Stranding 2. Yeah, you know what? I would love to play Death Stranding, but I don't have a PlayStation. Could it be that it's switching between getting the gem and picking the key? No, I think that it just isn't doing this correctly. So key position, find item position, level, list key, entity need a need key. So that's writing the part out where it says key blue. Find item position, key position F. Well, okay, yeah, it's F now. I think I did see that getting written out earlier, though. So there was a position. I don't know who picked that up. I think it was probably the hero that picked it up. Yeah, key position 8-6. So eventually someone picked it up. Hero has picked up the blue key in the log. We see it right there. And the hero doesn't have a script to actually try to go get it, so... So if we find the position, find item type, find item position. Okay, so let's go back to what we're supposed to be doing here. Path blocked. When we have path blocked as a clause, then in our case, we are calling find key next. And find key, do we ever see find key? Do I have anything to see? Find key. Consider path action, find key. Do we write that out anywhere? Yes, I took the considering action out. Let's add that back in then. Yeah, it's still looking for the key. Alexander says, can I ask what OS and window manager you use? I'm using GNU Geeks, which is a distribution of GNU Linux, and I'm using the Sway window manager. Check out the System Crafters YouTube channel. I got a lot of videos on Linux, Emacs, etc. All right. So let's reload. Copy a little script here. Throw it back in, run it. So find key, I saw find key. Then now find key false. Okay, that actually makes sense. I saw a first one up here. I wish I could pause this damn game. Find key procedure. So it did actually initiate the find key action at some point. So that's good. It initiated find key. I think the next problem here is it keeps saying find key and returning false, and I think that's wrong because it's not returning the same action again. So consider path action. The idea is that we're taking the action type, which is the type in the item position. We're looking at the current action, which is entity active action. Entity active action. Oh God, I'm hitting very wrong key bindings. Entity active action for action type. So whoa. So this is actually a loop. We're looking for that active action in the action list. Action type. Entity active. You know, I should just split my window so I can look for this a little bit more comfortably. Active All right. When I give it an action type, we get the actions list. If it's null, we return false. Otherwise, we check the car of the first action on the list and see if it's, equal. Yeah, I guess it's right, equal. That should give us a little bit more information about what's happening. Because I think something's wrong in this logic. It seems to be returning false when it should be returning true. If it returns true, what should happen? Oh, wait. Current action. It already found the current action. If pair entity action. Wait, this is wrong. Action type, current action. If current action, then it's the existing action. Ooh. That logic is a little bit wrong. I think I'm mixing two things together here, and it's causing trouble. Uh-oh. Let me know if the YouTube stream does something weird. Every now and then I'm getting a weird blip on the YouTube status saying that the bit rate is low. So I don't know if the stream is trying to drop out. So my concern here is that this procedure appears to be returning true or false. However, when I'm using it here, I'm expecting it to return current action, which is not right. Current action would be the first action in the action list. So maybe I shouldn't return true here. I should be returning car actions. That would actually be more accurate based on what I'm expecting to see. And then if I do that, is that right? I still need to return the action type. I've already done this check. If current action, then just return the current action. Otherwise, okay, now I'm not a bad programmer anymore. I can absolve myself of my bad statements toward myself. I think I've simplified this finally. So I take current action. It will return. Let me think about this for a moment. I would call this existing action. An existing action of the same type. If existing action, return existing action, otherwise make a new one of that type. That should actually fix the key finding logic. Let's try that. Alexander says, YouTube streaming service is not as good as Twitch's. Well, in this case, I think it has more to do with the restream service that I'm using to stream to multiple services at the same time. It's been having a lot of trouble lately, and I'm looking for alternatives now. Probably just hosting my own restreaming service. That takes time to develop. Run it. All right, cool. I see find key continuing to show up. So I think he actually is walking toward the key now. Thank God. Still taking a strange path, but we're getting there. The dumbest path possible. All right, now I got the key. And where are you going? You don't go down there to go back to where the item is. Must be wandering again. Okay, so can't find a path to desired position. Interesting. Check action, take item, find key. Okay, I do see that now it says blocked. Where the output is being written so fast I can't even keep up with it anymore. Can I filter? Yeah, that's what I should be doing. Blocked. Locked, blocked. Can you show me the context around this? Damn, too many messages. I think we're also seeing the printing from the hero stuff as well. Alejandro says once it finds a path blocked, it dropped the find at item action. Well, the monster picked up the key already. Now it doesn't have path blocked to do, so I think he just wanders. Okay, let's think about this for a moment. You know what? When that job gets completed, Peter says, I completely refactored asset loading to move all responsibility of asset finding in a single module and aggressively attacked ugly S expression. That's a good thing to do. So when we pick up the item, we've effectively completed the task. Another way to look at it is when we reach the location where the key is. Did I actually try to implement something for that? So make path action. We have a lambda that will continue to walk towards. Okay. So I was questioning whether this is actually correct here. Entity action finished. Entity action finished. Set entity action empty. Okay, so that empties the action, but I don't know if that's really what we want. So this lambda is what is causing us to move every frame. I don't know if we need to have some extra procedure that's passed through here. I do have a queue of actions, but I think you kind of need to reevaluate. Once the key is picked up, you need to reevaluate whether the path towards the door. Because now you're probably in a different position because you went to look for the key and the old path that had been pre-calculated is no longer valid. So we need to recalculate completely, which means let all the logic expressions run again. I think what's happening is that it's still saying need key. So we're not actually clearing out the fact that we picked up the key. So maybe push entity, or what is it? Entity item. Add entity item. Maybe what I should do is in here, is this a key that the entity was looking for? If it is, then this is the key the entity is looking for. I need to look for member. No. Match item okay, so we're gonna match the item type. I'm not sure if this match expression works. Let me actually check this. So Guile match expression. The form of this match expression, let's see, not that. Quasi pattern. Quasi patterns. QP is quasi pattern. Okay. Let's see, QP elements, pattern. All right. So we're sort of invalidating a little bit. I think if I do this, I'm looking for identifier, a symbol. List of elements, quasi pattern. This is not right. I think it's, oops. I think it's this. Key. These lists. Yeah, they're lists. Key color. Yeah, all right. And it's underscore, I think, for the rest. I don't know, even know if I need to do that. If this is true, then I need to set entity needed key entity false. That might work. So now I should probably write this out to make sure. So we're adding the item. Okay, that should be it. Let's see, match pattern and form. I probably did something wrong. That is in 392. I think it's somewhere in this procedure. Maybe I just didn't close out something. We got a match here. Key color. When. Oh. Maybe I don't even need to win. Whoops. It's just a match. Like, we're just... Peter asked if I'm using par edit or not, since I'm not using evil. I'm using smart parens, but I'm doing a very bad job of it. Par edit, I haven't gotten used to, so I want to reevaluate that again. But smart parens is pretty straightforward, I think. Let's try it again. Let's see if it works. Data says +1 for par edit. Okay, we got a little bug here now. Adding item, gem yellow. Okay, that's fine. Value failed to match. All right, I guess we do need the empty case. That works. Peter says I'm using Lispy with evil, but I'm not super stoked by it. Lispy did a lot of weird stuff for me. I mean, it was convenient in some ways, but also it would just like delete huge expressions in my code at times. Trev says I'm using parinfer. Yeah, I used parinfer in the past. Parinfer also is another one that makes things difficult sometimes because it prevents you from changing the structure of the code, and I prefer to just be able to, you know, edit however I wish. Hey, Fade. Still not moving with intention. Need key. I could have sworn that it should have taken that out now. What was the log that I added for that? Check action. What is the message I wrote out? Key color. I need to be able to get back to that line though. How can I tell it to go to that line after taking the filter off? What a pain. Okay, can I do something stupid? To cause the code to throw an error and stop it right there. So that path should be getting executed. Great. I wanted that error. Find key, adding item, key color blue, blue. All right. So it should set the needed key to false. Set entity needed key. But also every frame we're setting at the false. So why do we even need to do that? Maybe there's still a bug in the logic from trying to find if the character's blocked. So, come on. I can't really move very comfortably in this stupid output screen. Door blocked. Blue, I think true means... Why are there two of them? So entity has item. Okay, it didn't have the item back then. Hey, Kites. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Quick, for the cheer. Appreciate that. So we got a little problem. Maybe I should do the little crashing trick a little bit later to suss out this other issue where it thinks that needed key right there. Yeah, crashing trick. Literally, I have to crash the program to get it to stop so that I can read the output and figure out what's going wrong. Blocked? No, what was it? Damn. Find path. Let's go down to the end of the expression. Can you go there? E? Thank you. Right in here. And lock color. Lock door blocked. Set entity needed key. So we're setting that it's needed at this point. And I say return true. Well, why? Well, it's not that there's no logging library. I'm logging. Yeah, it's all client side. It's in the browser, but because the game keeps ticking every frame, it just keeps spewing outputs. There's no way to filter it down. At least in Firefox right now, when I try to filter the output, the actual value I'm looking for is on the next line after the message. So I can't see that whenever I'm filtering these things. Just based on the way that this PK, I guess the syntax works. So let's kill it right here. This evil expression, foo plus 3, is going to help us to understand when the code is not working. Interesting that it's doing that. Did I not actually indent that correctly? Because of PK, fine. Divide by 0, yeah, that works too. But because scheme is strongly typed, all I have to do is add a number to a string, and that's good enough. My coffee is about to be empty, so no more from me. I need to get back into par at it, that's for sure. Looped. He's not going to get the key because he's stuck inside this room. He can't get out. Never mind. Vuhog. Let's go, Vuhog. Go get that blue key. Why did it crash now? Okay. Alejandro says, lucky you're not using JavaScript where strings and numbers get concatenated. Yes, exactly. We have a sane language that doesn't let you add two things that are completely unrelated for suspicious reasons. So, the door is locked. What information am I trying to find out right now? The question is, are we ever at a situation where... Well, I don't know, man. Like, it's starting to break my brain a little bit now. Maybe I can get rid of some of this other output. It says, does Hoot silently coerce integers to floats? No, I don't think it does. I actually ran into that problem. Like, I was using an integer and I was passing it into a JavaScript function and it was doing nothing when I thought it should be doing something, and it was because it was being passed as an integer, not a float to that function. I had to explicitly turn it into a float to pass it to that function. Kite says, how is this project built? It's with Guile Hoot. Are the dev ergonomics cool? Yeah. I mean, there's no REPL. I'm having to recompile and rerun, and the compile cycle is kind of slow. So I guess from that perspective, dev ergonomics can be a lot better, but that's something that will end up coming soonish. Dave says, yeah, you can't pass a float where an int is expected, such as vector ref that is expecting an index. Yes, because scheme is strongly typed. It wants you to be passing the expected type of things, even though it's a dynamic language from this perspective that you could pass any value to a function because signatures are not being checked by the compiler, but at runtime it does check based on the operations you do. But you can do arithmetic on mixed numbers. Okay. That's also the case in normal scheme too, right? Because of the numeric tower, I think. Peter's asset loading feature issue fix itself. Yeah. Okay. All right. So the problem that I think that I'm currently having is that the entity will go pick up the key, but then it still thinks the door is blocked, even though it has the key. So there's something that's missing here. Yes, Alejandro, you can multiply an integer by 1.0 and actually do that in the code somewhere. I think there's an API for that, but I don't know if Hoot has it yet. There's like there's definitely one to turn a float into an integer called exact. If you call the procedure exact with a float, it will turn it into an integer. But I don't know that the opposite is available, so I just multiplied an integer by 1.0 and it worked. Let's see. So there is an inexact procedure. Okay, I didn't find that one, but I wasn't looking very hard. I just sort of, hacked it. Good to know. I was looking in the Guile docs and I didn't see that. There is a procedure called inexact arrow exact, which isn't in Hoot. So that's where I got. Okay, that's R7RS. Cool. I didn't realize that was an R7RS thing. Trying to decide how to proceed here. I kind of need to get some of that garbage out. Okay, Hoot 0.5 will have the Guile versions of those procedures. So that will be better for people who are following the Guile docs. Maybe we can get rid of some of the PK statements to clear up the output. Now that certain things are working, we don't need some of this stuff anymore. I just don't want to see all that output anymore. More Guile compatibility to come. That's awesome. Hoot is doing extremely well. Like, I'm starting to have really serious thoughts about building applications that are progressive web applications using Hoot, so that you can basically have an app that runs in the browser, but you could also install it to your phone as an app, because it gives you all of the comfort of Scheme, the ability to write things in the Scheme way, including being able to do cool stuff with SXML driven interfaces. I need to get some of that prototype code that Dave was writing though for that, so I can try to prototype some apps with it, because I think that that's going to be really awesome. If you can write Scheme web apps in a kind of React style, but with S expressions, it's going to be really awesome. Having to manually construct elements with the DOM APIs is painful. So we definitely need to have a shared library for SXML style element creation, which I know that it exists. Dave has shown it to me, which it just isn't around at the moment, or at least I haven't found it. Ooh, see, there you go. There's an internal chat tool at Sprightly, which is using, I'm guessing, goblins. Is this game Souls-like? Yes, every game is Souls-like. In JavaScript, everything is a number, says Akites. All right, let me get back to it. I'm getting distracted because I'm getting tired and bored of having trouble. Returning existing action. We don't need that anymore. We fixed that logic, so let's clear up some of this gunk. I think this is also fine now. We got that all sorted out. PK set color. We don't need that. Well, let's keep that for a moment. All right. PK, whoops, PK, let's see, where else? Exception, check, action. I don't think we need that anymore either. So I can pull this back up and delete that in paren. Maybe that's enough for now, just to clear it up a little bit. Glenn says it's a roguelite. It's a... What is the right way to describe this? It's not really a roguelite. It's a fake game. It's not a real game. Find key, okay. Boom, we got the key. Found key with color. Okay, so locked door blocked. I don't know what this extra true is, though. Where is that coming from? Paulo says, see, you're getting further along in game creation. Have you considered making it like a net hack and considering every possibility? No. Because that would defeat the purpose of doing a game jam. Trying to make everything work. Can't find a path at desired position. Find key. Locked door blocked. True, true. That false must actually be... Can't find a path to desired position. Okay, so it's trying to find a path to... It's trying to find a path to the stone. It still thinks that the door is blocked. That's kind of the problem right now. It still thinks that the door is, the path is blocked towards the stone. So let me just think about this for a minute. What could be the reason? Oh, Hades is awesome. Hades is a great game. Looking forward to Hades 2. Let me think. So the script is find item, gem yellow, then take item. Take item is calling consider path action. Consider path action is ultimately calling find path. In find path, we're looking for a path toward, yeah, door color does match by key color. So we've got that logic in. So tile walkable, tile is locked door. That works. Then down here in this loop again, locked door blocked. Blue, false, true. PKV. I'm guessing PKV is the final result that's getting passed through. So, right, I see. This may be why I'm getting a little bit confused here. So it's returning true at the end, set needed key. I see. All right. This could be wrong. It says it's doing my head in a bit that the program can't be introspected as it runs. Just wait. You know, eventually, when Hoot implements a scheme interpreter, it will be possible to do that. Kite says no Twitch chat message in the screen. Yeah, my Twitch bridge into the chat is not working at the moment. I need to fix that. It used to work. All the messages are coming from IRC Kites. So if you want to see your name on the screen, you should go to systemcrafters-live and Libre chat and chat there. That's what's showing up on the screen right now. Amazing that it works at all. Yeah, but it's going to continue to work even better. So we're getting there. When I say we, I mean the Sprightly team. I'm not building this, but I'm using it. So I feel some level of what do you call, you know, connection to the project. So this PK is writing out that we have a door with the blue color and it's returning false on this. Entity has item, that's going to be true, which makes this false. Okay, so maybe the logic is wrong in here somewhere. So if this is false, ooh, I think that PK was the problem. The PK was returning the wrong thing in the end. Unexpected imprint, where? Trev says, on a scale of 1 to PowerShell, how invested in Hoot are you? What does that even mean? If you're saying PowerShell is the maximum level of investment, then I think that's a broken scale. So we got the not here. What is that? What does this match up to? To the and? We don't want that to be the whole and. Okay, that's probably what it is. I am scheming in Hoot. It is all a scheme. It's all a pyramid scheme. Hello to the folks who have joined the Twitch chat. Where are you coming from? I don't know if people are like raiding random people or something. I guess it would tell me in the screen if it was actually a raid. So people are probably just showing up because maybe it looks interesting here. So hello to all of you who joined. And say hello in the chat if it's your first time here. Let me pull this up again. Find key, find key. So it's moving toward the key this time. Yes, go get the key. Stop walking in a dumb path. There we go. Okay, now it says the door is not blocked. Finally. God. How awful. That's kind of interesting, though. It doesn't actually unlock the door. It walked through the door. So let's implement that logic now. So in the what's it called? Make path action. As we're walking through, this lambda should check. Does the entity have a key that opens the door at the new position? Yes. We're basically just smashing the door down, but then we're leaving it right there where it was. So, yes, it's very polite. It's a polite goblin. You open a door, you walk through, you close it behind you just to make sure that everything is set up correctly for the next monster that wants to come through. You know, very polite. High society, goblins. Okay. We have the position. I have a... Yes, I think there's a tile sheet procedure for this. Is locked door. Okay, good. So tile is locked door. So level tile at car path, Kadar path. Is that right? Yes. The goblin prefers tea and scones. Yeah, we should just set some out and just see what happens. So level tile at, and then also we need to check tile is locked door. Oh, we also need to put level here. So level tile at, tile is locked door. It will return a lock color. Is there any cool WASM runtime for mobile? Looking for a simple way to deploy simple applications without dealing with Android, iOS stuff. Well, I mean, there's the browser. It's working in the browser. If you play this game on itch, you can load it up in your phone. If you're using Chrome or Firefox, well, yeah, Chrome or Firefox with a new enough mobile version, it will work. So when lock color, we need to set the tile. So where is the level? With file system access, I mean, well, yeah. I was looking into this recently. And by recently, I mean yesterday morning. And the file access APIs aren't fully there yet, it seems, for in the browser. I was looking for that too, because I want to be able to do like a notes editor type app, maybe some other things. set level tile at level. I really should just save these positions. Maybe with a let star. Wouldn't that unlock the door in the moment that picks the key instead of... No, it only does it when it's walking through that door right there. File access APIs in the browser sounds sketchy. Well, you have to give the app permission. It asks for permission. Emulate it using a local database. Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to get access to the user's actual files on the phone. Like if you want to write a note-taking app that can, let's say, load up org mode files and then be able to, let you edit them, it would be nice to use your actual files that you have synced already using some other program. But that may be asking too much. Who knows? Lock color, when lock color set level tile at. We want to set that to the open door tile. Open door. Did I not define things for this? Name your app 0-day notes. Yeah, of course. Dave said it probably would be better to wrap browser APIs rather than try to use schemes built-in file stuff. Yeah, for me, I would just map an API through the JavaScript thing and then read the content in, and then put that into a string port potentially. Maybe. Anything outside of the browser like WASI-based runtimes? I'm not sure, but I know that Hoot's output probably doesn't work in any other runtime at the moment because it needs very specific functionality from the runtime, like WASM-GC and tail call optimization. So as far as I know, only browser implementations right now have those things. And also the WASI interface, I think, is not well organized for garbage collected languages that compile to WASM in general, because most languages that are compiling to WASM are just like allocating a huge block of memory and just sort of, allocating from that. This is what Dave told me anyway. I could be repeating what he told me wrong, so. Borussia says, Webmax, my browser runs inside my editor, which runs inside a browser. Yes. WASI is a moving target. Tile ID 551. I don't really want to have to hard code that, so how can I do that in a way that's not so dirty? WASM time doesn't support WASM GC yet. Yep. Let's just do that. I could do a plist of tiles, but let's just get it done because we've spent a lot of time fixing the mess that I created, and now we need to get done with everything. Open door tile. All right, so lock color. Tile is locked door, level tile at level, blah, 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 blah. That gives us the lock color, but we still need to check that the entity has the item. So entity has item, entity item, okay. Has item, list key, lock color. There we go. So if those two things are true, then we should be able to unlock the door. So let's go try that out and see what happens. Unexpected end of input, line 417. All right, let's see. Check parens. Yes, that game does have great voice acting. And the overall design of the game is pretty awesome. The way that you win the game is not what you would expect. I'll just say that. And it will definitely drive you to want to complete the game in the most complete way possible. All right, we have the win. I think I did not close this let out correctly. Hades, Dave. It's a roguelike set in the underworld with all the Greek mythology figures. So I'm guessing that I messed up a let somewhere. Set entity X, Y is locked door. Set locked door if null path. Okay, it's this one. Did I not close the binding list? No, I closed the binding list. That's fine. That's fine. And lock color. I did want to close that let. That's fine. Begin. What does it think I'm in? Oh, we're still in the if expression. Does he? Ooh, I need to do a begin around this. Okay, something is weird about this. Oh, Hades 2 just came out? I thought it was still in development. Could be wrong about that. If null path, then okay, right. I think I put this in the wrong spot. Should be inside that begin. My bad. So right inside here is where that logic should be. Okay, we're all lined up here. Good. Oh yeah, early access. Entity has item. Yes. I have access, right? Okay, good. I think this will fix it. Hello to, I'm guessing that's Cassie. 0x Cassie. First time here, your Emacs videos are really helpful in getting me started with Emacs. Cool to see that you also joined the Lisp Game Jam. Yes, I've been aggressively promoting it, but thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad to hear that it helped. I was aggressively promoting the jam because I wanted the jam to reach 100 participants. And then it ended up being like 163. So I think that we were quite successful. So I'm happy about that. I think Dave's happy about that too. You know, they receive so much sponsorship money from the zero companies that sponsor the Lisp Game Jam that, you know, next time I hope to get some of that, some cut from the $0 that come to the Game Jam for my promotion efforts. All right, so the guy did unlock the door now and got the stone. Thank God. It works. And now it's just wandering. So what's the next goal then? I guess find nearest item, huh? So this logic does work. I can say find nearest item for the monster. But I haven't actually implemented that yet. So I'd have to implement find nearest item. Kill the Doom guy. Yeah, the monsters don't have to kill him. They just have to steal the treasure first. But what's better? I wonder. Let's see. All right. Let the monster know that there's nothing left in the room to find, so it can leave the room. It's just wandering. It would eventually go out if it happened to pick that direction. All right, so find nearest item. You know, let me actually clear out some of this stuff now because I want to commit the code. Whoops. Since it appears to be working, I don't want to lose what I did and break things further. So let's commit some stuff. That is the dumbest comment. Let's see, push entity action. All right. That looks good. Let me get that out of the way. Alejandro says, maybe a warlock who could teletransport to other places, even locked rooms. That would be pretty cool to add another character like that. If we had time, I would certainly do it. Kite says, I'm building GCC 9 and have this warning. Warning, variable PP set but not used. You don't want a PP in your GCC. All right. Oh, yeah, I've got that hard-coded stuff in there. I have a couple of these things. Maybe I should not check those in. What else did I just stage that I did not want to check in? And what is that? Okay, I do want that. Tile sheet procedures, I do want those. All right. What else? Floor tile, blah, blah, blah. These are all good. So I know I have some other hard-coded stuff that I need to not stage because I don't want them to be checked in. This is temporary. Okay, so that definitely qualifies as one of them. That also qualifies as temporary things I don't want to change. I think this whole chunk, the whole series of chunks, I don't want to stage. Well, I do want this to be the new model. Maybe I can stage that. And then remove the change. It worked, yes. It works fine now. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Let's just stage everything and commit it so that at least we can be... yes, we can unlock the door and get into the room. So now we need to move on to the rest of the possible logic. I think I can add the hero logic now too. I just need to add the... Alejandro says, does every level have a colored door with its corresponding key? We need to generate locked doors. So the idea is that we will generate some number of keys, one of each color. And when we do that, after we finish generating the items, we will see how many keys we have and which colors they are, and then find doors in the level and make them locked corresponding to the colors of the keys that are there. That way, there's always a pairing between a key and a door. But we don't have a way to check to make sure that the key is not outside of the room that's locked. So we're not going to get all the way there. That's fine. I mean, sometimes it just can't be done. It will be up to the player to realize the situation and then refresh the game, basically. Hello to that barcode who just followed. Also, Constantine Roland, Watano, Bastani Yaki, Live Coding, Levin Du, Teddy. These are people who have started following on Twitch during the stream. Thank you to all of you. A lot of new followers on Twitch as a result of the game jam. Kind of surprising, actually. Okay, so let's commit this. Working path blocking and key finding logic. All right, so that's good enough for now. So we need to move forward with the remaining logic. What I need to do is set the hero to have his own logic to do the things we said in the notes. So in notes.org, I said that the hero's logic would effectively be this. Just find the nearest item. No changelog style commits. Why? It's a game jam. Will you expect me to write like elaborate commit messages for a game jam? I'm committing to-do messages in the code and also like hacks in the code. So there's no way I'm going to do full commits. I know you're joking, but still. Okay, so in the game.scm, when we generate the hero, I know you're joking. I'm also joking. You have to take every opportunity you can to just, create some drama in a stream so that it's more interesting. Thanks, Clement, for following. Clement was here yesterday helping out. Yes, we have to create drama. As you know, as content creators, you have to create drama. Otherwise, people don't pay attention to what you're doing. So let's just create some fake drama that the kites told me that I should be checking in better commit messages. Never tell me that again. Okay, I'm doing the best I can here. Talo says, I think I found SEers from being mentioned in the Geeks IRC channel. Trev says, generate patch files and send them to Fade for review. I think Fade would just be really annoyed that I was sending him Scheme code and not Common Lisp. The changelog, a convention from the Stone Age. You need changelogs, don't you? Unless you're just saying that you're going to generate a changelog from your commit history, which basically is what Kites is hinting at, I think. Changelogs were good. Alejandro says, is apologizing for not being more useful. Alejandro, you have plenty of usefulness points from the previous Game Jam streams. Don't worry. Just relax and enjoy, because you've gotten me out of many problems in the past, so don't worry about it. It says, in the presence of git blame, why? Well, I think we're talking about changelog in terms of like being able to, for a user of the program to go read and see what things have been added. Because sure, a developer could just go dig through the commits, but will a user go do that? Definitely not in the case of this game, because who's going to go look at the code for this? All right. Guy says, backporting things to GCC4 produce many changelog conflicts. I hate them. That does sound complicated. What are you doing? You just like, are you cherry picking commits over or something? Changelog style commit style is hard to follow. Yeah. So, committed the code. Now we need to add the necessary stuff for the hero's logic. On make entity, I think I need to go into entity and then make entity. And for the script, we need to select the default script. I don't think I need to do what I just did here. It's kind of dumb. It says, I think the purpose was to create a tendency to unitary atomic commits, which was probably more important during the days of CVS, RCS, SVN. Yeah. Excuse me. I think people still try to stick to that idea. Man, I tend to not add too many things to a commit also, but it's difficult sometimes. You don't really want to try to like make that be your goal. If you're trying too hard to make your commits look really nice and pretty and appease the commit gods, you're going to end up spending more time figuring out how to stage very specific lines in your commits or redoing them completely with rebase than you will like actually solving real user problems. So I don't know. There's a balance to be struck, just like everything else in life. You know, it's the middle path, folks. Just listen to what the Buddha says. Follow the middle path. Don't worry about getting perfect commits. You know, if your commits are total garbage, like oops, if your commit message is oops, you could do better. But it doesn't have to be the perfectly formatted commit message to make the hackers on Hacker News happy, because they'll never be happy, okay? The people on Hacker News are always gonna be finding some reason to tell you that your code sucks. So just ignore them. There's no point of even paying attention to that. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Trev says, I found that every Magic user that I've worked with is a stickler for sane commits. How many Magic users have you actually worked with? Because I have worked with maybe one or two. Like, actually worked with. In a job. Haha, Guide says, writes an absolutely not perfect commit message to Geeks devs. Rewrite, please. Yes, in Geeks, they're pretty hardcore on the commit messages. It's fine. Alejandro says, my new mantra, my code sucks, and that's fine. Yes, everyone's code sucks, and that's fine, because the point is to make something that works. Quality is great, but first of all, the code has to work. So we should all pat ourselves on the back for writing code that worked, first of all, and then we can go back and make it better. Let me actually focus on getting something done now, and not giving sermons on why code quality is sus. No, just kidding. So we need to dispatch on type here. We're going to use another case on type. We're going to say that the hero has a different default script than anyone else. I already have a default entity script. I'm going to say the default hero script. And that should be okay. Find nearest item, take item. Let me just see if can I actually do this? No, that's only in org mode. Let's do a rectangular cursor selection. There we go. Cassie says, yeah, my code is a big mess right now. Code will always be a big mess while you're trying to figure things out. And then eventually you solve the problems that you had, and then you start to realize there are simpler ways to accomplish the same thing. So that's my strategy. I just get it working first, and then I'll deal with the code quality and cleanliness demons later. Default hero script. Game jams are a great opportunity to write a bunch of code for fun without worrying about what the voice in the back of your head says about code cleanliness, because the point isn't to write clean code. The point is to get the job done. Default entity script. All right. And now I can skip this whole set entities. Oh, no. Actually, I want to do that, but I'll take this little handle here. GTD, get things done. That's right. Yeah, I agree with Dave. Dave says game jams are very good at developing your right thing versus ship on time skills. Yeah, you definitely have to prioritize aggressively. And it's a great skill to learn, and you'll find that if you can learn how to prioritize aggressively, it's very useful for working in a software company, because sometimes you do have deadlines and things have to get done, and you have to decide what things are not going to get done. What are the things that, if they don't get done, are not that important anyway, and just don't do them. Dave says lots of compromises need to be made all the time. Yes, there are shifting priorities based on time, based on difficulty of tasks, based on solar flares, voodoo magic. there was this one time I was working at a company, and somebody was doing voodoo magic, and we had to slip our release by 2 weeks. Obviously, that's a lie. Cassie says, make it work, make it right, make it fast. Exactly. It says spec changes mid-flight. Well, if you're working with any program manager, probably your life is spec changes constantly. Because, I mean, they're being paid to edit the spec and tell you what to do. So, of course, they're going to be changing constantly. I don't have anything wrong with program managers. I'm just, joking around a little bit here. Kite says, basically, programming is taking decisions, and we need to know how to do that. Yes. Well, it's all decisions all day long, and that's why it's kind of mentally draining. Between the constant need to debug weird problems and research solutions, implement solutions, make like 100 decisions about how to do things, is very mentally draining. Peter says, sure, that's a lie. 2 weeks delay is a pipe dream. Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, we got the entity creation. I've moved everything over. We have entity now. I probably did not even need to have an intermediate entity object, but who cares? Dave says, things change a lot even outside of corporate environments. You got to adapt, get feedback early and often. Yeah, well, that's just reality. I mean, there's no way to avoid that. If you're trying to do something new and useful, there are the use cases that you know about, and there are the use cases that you're going to find out about after you've already started going down a particular path, and then you're going to have to change course slightly because maybe those use cases turn out to be more important or more valuable than the original ones that you had. So it's always the case that you're going to have to react to changing circumstances, even if it's minor stuff. But that's the nature of doing programming at a professional level. And even at a hobby level, I mean, you're going to have to do that too. Even in a game jam, you have to react to changing circumstances. Like, for instance, today, where it took a lot longer to finish something that I started doing yesterday than I wanted it to, and now we're way behind. So it is what it is. I don't really care too much, at least in this case. So we've got the default hero script pulled in. Now we need to implement find nearest item. Everything else, okay, find nearest item and walk to exit. So both of those are things that need to be implemented. For entity, we also need to have a little hook inside of make path action. So inside of this nested lambda that's getting to be extremely disgusting, I think we need to come up with a way to compose different things that fit into this, but that's for another time. So here I would also say, if this is the hero landing on the exit tile, and the hero has all the items, you lose. To do. Implement this, please. Yes, predicates or like callbacks, I would even say. You would need kind of like a callback. So the way I would imagine this is make path action may take yet another parameter for like a callback, because make path action is a generic, consider path action. It's kind of a generic thing we're using to represent some kind of action where we need to follow a path, but there are different types of those. Okay, so when you program with symbols, everything is abstract. I mean, sure, I guess. Why? Something is wrong with some parentheses somewhere. Must be in here, right? In Scheme, wouldn't the idiomatic construction for that logic be a chain of continuations? Well, not in the code that you write, but in what the compiler would turn your code into before it turns it into some other form. If you had to actually write all of your code in explicit continuations, your brain would melt. So you don't want that. You do not want that. So I broke something here. Check parens. Is it too many or too few? Too many? That doesn't seem right to me. Exactly, the kites. Writing everything in continuations is also some kind of a callback hell. It's basically the pyramid of hell of what you would normally see in JavaScript code for Node.js before async await came along, where it's like a pyramid. You have a function where you have a nested function as a callback, and then you have to nest multiple layers of these because you keep calling asynchronous operations that require callbacks. So you just got this huge pyramid or triangle of callback hell. It says call CC is not a thing. Well, it is a thing, but you wouldn't use call CC yourself unless only in very specific circumstances. You wouldn't use it as just like a normal thing, because that's way too confusing. Call CC is good if you need to implement like escape procedures out of a loop, or even doing like coroutines, etc. But call CC is kind of gross. Peter says, why does itch.io zip my tarball? I think it zips anything that you use Butler to upload, so don't put it in a tarball to have Butler upload it. I think you just give it the direct folder of files, if I'm not mistaken. Dave says, tired, call CC, wired, call with prompt. Yes, delimited continuations are much better because they're composable, and you don't have to blow away the entire call stack just to reify a delimited continuation. You just sort of reify the delimited part of the call stack on top of the existing call stack. So it's more like rehydrating a fragment of a call stack and then continuing the execution at that point. Fade says, obviously I'm not a schemer. That's okay. We love you anyway, Fade. Even though you are a heathen who uses Common Lisp, you're still one of us. That's okay. One day we will show you the path to the light and you will start using Scheme and leave Common Lisp behind. Or not, because I'm not going to try to pressure you to use a language whenever you have been using Common Lisp for many years. Okay, enough talking. Alejandro says, Emacs Lisp wants to be Common Lisp. Yeah. Yeah, more and more, I guess. But maybe that's better. Emacs Lisp, sort of by default, is pretty primitive. Gets the job done, but it's not really a full language. But the Common Lisp style extensions to it, I think they're pretty good. The fact that we got lexical scoping in Emacs Lisp helped a lot, I think, at least for me, because I think in terms of lexical scope, being a Scheme programmer. God, we are really behind now. Guile has an eLisp mode. Maybe it will have a Common Lisp mode. I doubt it. I think that whole idea of Guile running multiple languages is not really prioritized like it used to be. There was a reason for that. Sorry, there was a reason that they would try to make that happen with Guile, but I think that Guile as a project seems to be moving more towards just being Scheme, which I prefer, because I think that that's the problem with Racket. Racket is a very sophisticated environment with high quality libraries and stuff already built in, but they're too focused on like being a multi-language platform. And I just think that why not just focus on one language and make it really, really good and just teach people that? It's probably because it's academic people who are making Racket and they have reasons they want to like experiment with different language paradigms, but I don't know. The Kite says, Guile is not that much of an extension language anymore. It's more focused on being a standalone language. Yes. Dave says, however, that language system is still very useful. Yeah, if it was able to deliver on the promise of running Emacs Lisp faithfully, which it does in large part, then maybe the Guile Emacs dreams could one day be realized. But okay, I'm getting back to it. I'll shut up now and try to focus on finishing something for the day. At least we need the hero's logic to work, because that was supposed to happen yesterday. If closest, and I think I have too many here, probably because I took the PK out. Is that what happened? I cleaned up the code and I deleted too much stuff. Check parens. I think we're okay. Yeah. Dave says, but the idea of Guile being an implementation of other big languages like JavaScript and Python isn't really realistic outside of novelty. I also think it's not a good idea. So the idea is that if Guile is the extension language for the GNU project, the official extension language, and if the goal is that you should be able to write any language that you're comfortable with, like JavaScript or Python, to extend a program that uses Guile as the extension system, what you're going to end up with is extensions written in multiple languages with no really like coherent idiomatic style for extension, and you're going to fragment the ecosystem of people who are working on extensions for the language. Sure, it would be nice if things could interoperate in a way that made sense, but different languages have different idioms and different ways of defining APIs. I just think that it's a nice idea in theory, but in practice, it's not, it's like a non-goal, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I would just prefer to have things be more focused on providing the best experience possible. And if people don't know Scheme, they should just learn Scheme to use it, and everybody will be happy, because Scheme is great. Dave says the language tower is very interesting though, because for example, Tree IL and CPS are both languages in Guile. Now that is good, but that is scoped to the project itself. It's not some other language that you have no control over that you're trying to implement in a language front end for Guile itself. Invalid clause in subform entity 87. So where I added the default entity script, I messed something up here. Oh, I think I need to put else, because I'm thinking of match expression in that case. Okay. Again, this is in, well, not clear, but if closest, somewhere here we have a bad form. That seems okay. Not... I think there's, once again, one too many close parens. I think that should be here instead. I'll bet it's because the and only had one expression, and it's like, hey, you got an and with only one expression. Wrong number of arguments to not? How'd I do that? Man, I really jacked the parentheses up, this expression. It's just a huge mess. Yeah, something is going to be wrong here too. What am I closing out here? And? Got the and, if closest, and. All right. What a mess. Got 42 viewers on Twitch, which is pretty impressive, I think. I mean, that's as many as I get on a normal Friday stream for System Crafters when I'm talking about geeks. So hello to the folks who are joining on Twitch. If you've never been on a System Crafter stream before, say hello in the chat. So, okay, good. Alejandro has taken it upon himself to write the lyrics for the song that they should actually sing. Hello to Fade in the Twitch chat. You've been here before, but maybe you're just cheering because of the people who are on. Thanks to Feisty Lobster for following on Twitch. Okay, so we have a clean compilation. Found key with color. Can I get rid of some of that stuff? Found key with color. I think I don't need that anymore. So, ooh, too many. Okay, and the next thing was to implement the logic that's needed for this character, for the hero. So I need to go to entity and clauses, interpret clauses. Where is it? Interpret clause. There it is. So find nearest item. And we're not really trying to find something for a given type. So find nearest item, level, entity. So we're trying to find the nearest item to the entity. Now that's going to be interesting to implement. Because I guess we can use Manhattan distance in this case, right? Did I delete that code? Calculate distance. Hey, I still have it. Good. I never used it, so I can use it somewhere else. That is in interpret clause. So I'll start writing this define find nearest item level entity. And we will loop over the items of the level items. Level. Whoops, let's jump up to this one here. And then if null items, turn false because we didn't find anything. Otherwise, we're going to loop until we find something that fits the distance. So what we need two things. First, we need a distance nearest, let's say. And nearest can be positive infinity. So calculate distance. We also should hold on to the entity x, which is entity ex of entity x entity ey entity y entity. All right, because we don't want to have to keep calling that every single time. Oh, I can't do that, can I? Suppose I can, but yeah, that'll just be a closure. That's cool. It's fine. Calculate distance from entity, is that x1, y1? Yeah. Okay, so entity x, entity y, and then item x are items. Whoops. All right, let's just delete this. Item y are items. Okay. Now we need to check the distance. If less than, let's say if greater than distance, sorry, nearest. We also need to have the nearest item. So if greater than nearest and calculate distance, then we pick the car of items. Otherwise, we return result. And this is going to get wrapped in a call to loop. So we're going to use cdr of items. And then the result is going to be this part. So we're trying to see whether the new distance is... Ooh, I need to actually save the value of the distance so I don't have to calculate it again. I don't really like having to do that. I don't want to make another let for this. Maybe calculating again is not so costly. No sort function. Probably not. That's kind of a good idea though. But maybe this is, well, if you have to loop over the whole list, looping through it once and doing this calculation is probably faster than sorting, because sorting, if it's like, you know, n squared algorithm or something like that, or n log n, it's still going to be slower than just looping once through the list and holding on to the closest thing that you find. So let me just grab this current distance. There we go. Yeah, let's drop this down one line. It's getting a little bit ugly. Too many lets. We'll call this distance. Nearest distance. Then we're gonna, excuse me, pull in carve items as a result. And we do need to pass in what we consider to be the nearest distance again. So, distance. That ought to do it. I don't think we're fully sorted out here though. We need to close out the two lets and the define. There we go. So it would be nice to know what this nearest item is. So let's just write it out. Trev says, surprised you didn't use map over all the items and then find the min. Sure. What about when there are multiple equal items of the same color? Which one will it try to take? There won't be multiple equal items of the same color. I'm generating all the items in a way where there will be one of each kind. So for the two parameters, the type of item and the color of item, there will be one of each pair only. So there will only be one red gem or one red key. There can't be two red keys. But we're not even looking at that. So find item position, find nearest item. I want to use a PK nearest. Map all items to their distance from the entity and then take the minimum distance. You still need to... that requires looping twice, doesn't it? Functional programming only available in the Scheme course. I'm trying to avoid looping more than once. This enables me to loop only once. Even though it may not look the cleanest thing in the world. Nearest item is find nearest item. It's not even going to tell me what it is, though. I don't know if there's a way to install a custom printer for a record type in Hoot, but I almost need to do a let here just to see what it tells me. 100 oh yeah, I have 1,000 millisecond gap. That's true. Like, I can be inefficient, I guess, but I don't want to be if I don't have to be. I promise I'm not doing premature optimization here. I'm just trying to be, you know, conservative up front. Nearest. So item type nearest. I also need to do that. And item. There we go. That does it. Now, we don't have the action yet for going to the exit, but let's just go ahead and compile this and try it, because I think we're out of time now. Unbound top level item, nearest, my bad, nearest, there we go. So, wrong number of arguments to loop, entity 266, I must have missed a parameter. Yes, I actually didn't close out the let early enough so that distance gets passed as a, ooh, no. I have to do that earlier. And I really don't want to do that. Shoot. There's another way to simplify this, and I really don't feel like dealing with it right now, which is basically just to const the result and the distance together so that they're one value being passed through. Okay, I'll stop being lazy. Nearest. At the end, yeah, I also forgot to do one other important thing. At the end, I need to say cooter nearest. Trev says, I hate to be that guy, but it won't really be the nearest distance with Manhattan. Yeah, you know, I don't care about that too much. It would be better if we could do it based on path distance, but we don't have time to work that out. You're right, though. I appreciate that you mentioned it, because I didn't think about it until you said it, so. Then he needs to wait for a goblin to open the door. No, because he'll just go look for the key. One thing I didn't do yet is implement the behavior to find the key in the inventory of another entity if it's not on the ground. We're not going to get there. Like, I'll just go ahead and tell you, by the end of tomorrow, the game is not going to be in the best working state. That's not me being pessimistic. That's me being realistic based on the way things have been going so far. But that's okay, because the point is just to finish something, and we will have finished something. It just doesn't work that well. So, cooter items, distance, calculate distance, kill entities. The quickest way for me to get banned on YouTube is just to say something like that. Const distance result. And searching their pants. That's basically the idea. You're gonna be, the hero is gonna be mugging the monsters, just walking around in the dungeon, going in their own house and mugging them, shaking them down. This is wrong. This needs to be moved. Nice work, Peter. Car of items. So what we're gonna do here is put the distance and car of items here. So car of items. So this const now represents our new closest item. And we need to make sure that we're checking correctly. So it's going to be car of nearest. No. Here, car of nearest. This game was inspired by GTA. Yes, in the end, this game is about the hero doing very terrible things. It's an anti-hero, like many modern stories. But you do not play the role of the anti-hero as you do in GTA games. Okay, so loop, cooter items, let distance. If the distance of nearest, the car of nearest, which is the distance value, is greater than distance, const distance with car of items, which is the first item in the items list. I don't know why I keep moving these around. Otherwise, return the existing result. And that should do it for that. So then back in the find nearest item, find nearest right here. we get nearest, and we write it out. And nearest, item type nearest, and we also need to return it through here too. Nearest. Okay, finally. Once again, let's build it and ship it. Unbound top level result. I think that is in line 2, it says 273, result. This is gonna be nearest. Cool. Almost there. So I'm gonna just leave the entity to have no script this time. And we're gonna let the hero try to go find the nearest item. We'll run the game and see if he finds items. Whoops, all right, we got an error already. Unexpected end of input. Oh, okay, I think my default hero script does not close out the parentheses correctly. So do walk to exit. Yes, that's correct. Right there. Boom. It probably was too ambitious of a game idea for the jam, but I was just, you know, inspired by this idea I had, and I wanted to try it out. Next jam, we'll try to rein things in a little bit better. It says, why is that code encapsulated in a literal string? And because it's basically the same as typing it into this text box here. We're defining what the default script is for a given entity. Okay, we've got another crash. This time it is, let's see, origin. There's a minus somewhere. We're subtracting a procedure from something. Is that the Manhattan distancing? Calculate distance. Oh. I must have done something wrong. EXEY. Ha. Yes, I did. EXEY. That makes sense. I was passing procedures as X and Y values. Hello, Venomweed. Venomweed says, readability was not the priority when they made Lisp, was it? Well, you know, it's not so readable right now whenever I have been hacking code together just to get it to work. So it doesn't look so good compared to what it could look like if I had written things in a more elegant way, but we're in a hurry now. Run again. All right, so we got another little crash here. We did find a nearest item though, blue key. So the hero will try to go grab that blue key first. Maybe I should not look at keys though. Maybe I should specify what type of item, because the keys don't matter if all the gems are out there. So let's just fix the problem first. So car of a record. Item type key blue. Yeah, so I'm calling car on an item. Car item. Footer items. Peter says, readability is more of a skill of the writer than a consequence of a language. Making code readable is a process that takes time. Dave says, I find Lisp extremely readable. No operator precedent rules forget. Yeah, I also find it a lot easier if you're writing the code where your indentation and grouping of things indicates the sort of logical units of the code or the expressions the sort of sub-expressions that are being evaluated, like this, calculate distance. I mean, you can see right here, I'm just running calculate distance on these things. You sort of recursively understand what's happening in the code at any given point, but if you're not that experienced reading this stuff, or maybe if the code is not very well written, then it is harder. That's why I'm a little bit fidgety with my line breaks and indentation. Like right here, this could be one line altogether, but for some reason, breaking the second parameter of this const onto a second line just makes me see it better. So that's where I think readability matters in Lisp, is like how you actually lay the code out, and sometimes it looks a lot more aesthetically pleasing, in my opinion. Maybe it's just an OCD thing. Okay, so car is looking for a pair, obviously, but I'm giving it an item instead. Now, nearest item, key blue. Okay, nearest item. Oh, I know why. I know why. I'm supposed to be giving it the a const of the X and Y position. So this is going to be item X, item Y, item. And that should fix that issue. All right, we're about done here. I'm gonna call it in just a moment. Wow, once we see this work. Once again, I used the wrong binding. No, let's just stop with the freaking nearest and use item, because that's the most obvious name to use in this case. I should probably also have used Emacs to do that work for me, but right now, my thinking is not so clear. Alejandro says, I found S expression more clear than Python. Peter says, and a good programmer can write Fortran in any language. Fade says, also less parentheses and brackets in Lisp than in almost any other language. Yeah, in the end, it is kind of like that. All right, so maybe this time the hero will start walking towards an item. I would guess it's going to go for this blue stone first. Nearest item, gem blue. Okay, it's not even moving. How wonderful. Yes, you know where it is, but you just don't walk to it. So what's going on there? Did I mess something up? Should it be default hero script take item? Why are you not taking item? Take item. Consider path action. What did I do? Consider path action. I don't do anything type specific for entities. So I'm kind of confused as to why it just sits there and doesn't do anything. Yeah, I'm not doing anything entity type specific. Nowhere. Remember that issue with the goblins too? Stay a tile away from the item. Ooh, was that a problem that we had seen at some point? That is a precarious position here. Run it. Yeah, the hero is not doing what it's supposed to do. Oh, you know what? I think... Hold on. Game.scm. Compile. Did I call it compile? Compile script. Update entity logic. Okay, so I did the whole thing. Prepend the final position to the path. Maybe. I think I messed up here. I think there's a reason why I did what I did before. Now I'm going to go back and fix it. It's curious that it did things this way, though. When I click run, level entities. Okay, so it's doing it for all of them. Okay, so it should actually compile it. The hero has logic. Is it possible that I broke something? Good old fixole here. Find item. Key blue. Take item. We really need indicators for when the expression is closed. Okay, so that's broken now. Good. It's good that it's broken because at least it tells me that I'm not crazy. So find item, key red, take item. Yeah, none of them are moving to the item anymore. So why is that? If there's an unblocked path to the item, why is it that they're not moving toward it? Let's see. There was entity take item. Consider path action. Consider path action. I must have borked the logic in here. So if existing action, return the existing action. Oh, and I've got an and here for absolutely no reason. Great. EK existing action. We're just gonna do this whole job again. Action type. Just need to double check. Because that will tell us if the action got saved. All right. So let's try one more time. So find item. Let's say gem blue. Take item. It's not even getting to that point. I'm not even saying find nearest item. I could do that too. Yeah, none of them are moving. Nearest item, find nearest. So we're returning the position. That is the result of the clause. To T, unknown clause F. So then we have interpret actions. And the clause result will be getting passed through. Take item, consider path action, take item. So consider path action. Once again, we got to write something out here. Maybe I should have written it here instead. And then, oh, hold on a second. Item position. Okay. Let's do that too. Just to see a little bit more detail, because obviously we're missing something. Okay. This time I'll just run it directly. Take item 5.6. Okay, so we do see that there's a take item action. Probably need to write out the existing action just in case. It doesn't seem to be getting stored though. Make path action. Once we run consider path action. That goes back to new action. We have the new action and new action push into the action. PK, new action. So I think we must have broken something in the logic where there's already like an action to run. Or sorry, the first action can run. There's no other backup action running. Come on, there we go. So new action, take item, new action, wander. Yeah, I think the wander is coming from the other one. So we have new action. Why is it not actually being executed, I wonder? Because there's a procedure involved. The entity is wandering. I bet I broke. Okay, this must be what's happening. So make path action. I must have broken the logic inside of the lambda. Make path action. Inside of this lambda, we have the path. If path is null, we finish the action. If path const action, we're getting a path because we're getting an actual action value back. So in the lambda, we begin. We look and see if the current tile is locked. It's not locked. Set entity X, entity to our path. All right. Come on. Can't even type anymore. Set new position. Our path. Something tells me we're not even making it there. This logic has become far too complicated because it tries to do too much. That's okay though. Okay, so I'm gonna run it again. I'm not seeing anything about moving. So new action, let's take that out now since we actually see what's there. The action is correct. It's just not being executed the way that we expect it to. So we'll get that log out. New action, action type. We will take this out too. I think I can just delete this whole thing. It's like multitasking with a single thread processor. Yeah, something weird. It would have been interesting maybe to use delimited continuations for this. But I guess what's the difference when you already have lambdas? Nearest item key read. Excuse me. Okay, what I want is to be instead of make path action. We need to say what the path is. PK, path. Is there a path? Because if there isn't, then that would explain why we're not walking. What is Fade saying what to? Continuations. I was saying that I could use a delimited continuation for maintaining a task state, but a closure with a lambda also works. Okay, so the path is empty. So how in the hell is that the case? There's a red key right there. Let's do this again. Yellow gem. There's no way that's an empty path. Okay, so it's returning an empty path for some reason. Find path. I must have broken that logic at the very end. So path finding logic is broken. That does make a lot of sense now. I deleted some print stuff in here, and I must have broken it. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Let tile ID lock color and lock color. Yes, I can imagine how useful a REPL would be right now, but I don't have one. So what can I do about that? It would be great. Okay, so closest, if closest, we're using the and. I think I screwed up. I think this actually needs to be closed off right there. This is me sympathizing with you. Thank you. I appreciate the sympathy. I think I screwed that up. So Alejandro says, pay D. Thompson to implement one for Hoot. I think Dave's supposed to be doing that. Or at least he's supposed to be doing the interpreter. If closest, we have the and we need to close the and. Otherwise, we do the if. Yeah, I think I screwed that up. All right, now it's going to work perfectly, and the stream will be done. Famous last words. Dave says, we'll get there. Yes. I mean, how many people is it working on Hoot at the moment? Like 2, maybe 3? Yes, they'll get there. They're doing superhuman effort at the moment. It will eventually happen. He's walking now. Okay, so where are we going? Blue key. Whoa, what was that? That was some teleportation. Okay, we grabbed that one. Whoa! How is that happening? And we're just gonna bust through that door and go grab the yellow gem. And then what? Okay. Clearly we're saving some task state. And then we crash because the final task is not implemented yet. All right. So there's a bug to fix. Yes, that's the warlock that Alejandro was asking for. So the hero actually has superpowers and can teleport to other places on the map. It's almost like the hero is popping his position stack. Once he starts a new task, he pops back to the previous location. I don't know why that's happening. Unless there's a bad entry on the path list. But we'll have to look at it tomorrow. I need to make a little note for myself in the code, but I think that we're good today. At least we saw that the hero went around and picked up all the stuff in the map and was able to unlock a door. So that's good progress, I would say. It's not as much progress as I would hope to see, but it does work. He's Nightcrawler from X-Men, says Glenn. That's right. All right. Let me just add some stuff in here to be computed. Sorry, computed. Jeez, my brain is gone. As you can see, it's time to go drink a cold beverage. Let's say. We know the path is good. Hero landing on the exit tile. Hero has all the items you lose. Implement this, please. Yes, someone should implement that. Let's also say for tomorrow, hero teleports back to original position. It is dinner time. My brain no longer worky. Need food. SOS. Find key. Yep, that's all good. Deleted that mess. Cool. Working find nearest item plus default hero logic. Push. Not exactly to original position. Yeah, it's not really. I can't type. It's not original position. It's the position before the previous task started somehow. Yes, he opened the door. It did actually happen. We're not doing well here. Let's click run. We'll just show you one last time. There's 2 blue keys. I think I made a mistake there. So grabbed a key. Now we're looking for some other item. I don't know which one what that one is. But I think we're gonna walk through the blue door right now. We got another blue key. See, look at that. Teleportation. Walk through the blue door, unlock it. Okay, now we're gonna go grab one of the yellow. Are we gonna... What just happened? What is happening? That is bizarre. And then we crash. Oh, because the... Okay, yeah. And the other thing we need to implement too is Hero needs to locate items in monsters' pockets. All right. So the pathfinding algorithm is giving us some very interesting results for some reason, but that's okay. We'll look at it tomorrow. We'll see how much we can actually polish up. The latest build is now available, should be available on the, well, let's see, CI, Codeberg, Lambda Dungeon. It should be available very shortly on fluxharmonic.itch.io/Lambda Dungeon, so you can check it out for yourself. And yeah, we'll get back to this tomorrow afternoon, probably around the same time, and we'll see if we can finish this game jam out in style. Before I go, I want to just remind people that if you're interested in learning Scheme, especially Guile Scheme, to write code sort of like what I'm doing in this stream, check out the next iteration of my hands-on Guile Scheme for beginners course that I just announced. It starts on June 8th. It's for 8 weeks. It's a combination of pre-recorded lesson material, like 6+ hours of material to teach you the fundamentals of Scheme, functional programming with Scheme, practical programming with Guile Scheme, and then how to build actual applications with Guile Scheme. And not only do you have the pre-recorded material and written material, you have a forum where you can ask questions. There's exercises to do where I will actually grade your results. And there are live Q&A meetings where you can get together with me and the other participants to discuss the material. So it's a good time. And you should join if you're interested in learning Scheme, so that I can survive another day to do another game jam after this is over. So anyway, check that out if you want to. If you're on Twitch and you don't know how to get here, just go to systemcrafters.net, and on the main page there is a link here for hands-on Guile Scheme for beginners in the orange box. It will take you directly to the page. Take a look. Send me any questions. Send me any questions that you have. Communication skills are fading, and I'll be happy to answer them. So thank you all for being here today. There was so many people on the Twitch stream. It's kind of surprising, honestly, to have around 30 to 40 people consistently. I don't know who all of you are, but I'm thankful that you're here. Next time, maybe you should say something so I can get to know you and you can get to know me, and we can start this whole parasocial relationship that everybody's so fond of. So we'll see you back here tomorrow around the same time, and we'll try to get this thing finished out. And until then, happy hacking. We'll see you.